Narayana Murthy says it's not ideal to follow nationalism in today's interconnected world. In a time when global powers prioritize their own national interests, he wants India to not follow nationalism. So, on whose behalf is he really batting? What could be the underlying motive behind such a statement? Mr. Narayan Murthy is a problematic individual. I'll tell you that. He has a long track record of funding activities that are, if not anti-India as a nation, definitely anti-Indian civilization. So I'll put let me put up this change.org petition that dates back from to the last decade, about almost a decade ago. The petition to remove Sheldon Pollock as mentor and chief editor of the Murthy Classical Library. So Narayan Murthy's son, uh, he was studying in the US, and his guide or whatever was this guy Sheldon Pollock, who is a known Hindu phobe. Okay, and he wanted to gain funding for translating various ancient Indian texts into English, Sanskrit and other languages, Sanskrit, Telugu, Tamil, whatnot. So Pollock wanted funding to do this, and the Murtis gave him the funding. Uh, so this project should be guided would have to be guided and carried out by a team of scholars who have not only proven mastery in the relevant Indian languages, but are also deeply rooted and steeped in the intellectual traditions of India. And Pollock is not that sort of guy. It is well known that he has deep antipathy towards many of the ideals and values cherished and practiced in our civilization. He echoes the views of Macaulay and Max Weber that the Shastras generated in India serve no contemporary purpose except for the study of how Indians express themselves. Um, there is that. And uh, Pollock is a prominent signatory of two recent statements released by US academicians condemning the actions of the JNU authorities and the government of India against separatist groups who are calling for the independence of Kashmir and for India's breakup. Bharat tere tukde tukde honge, that sort of thing. Sheldon Pollock supports that, and he is funded by the Murtis. And he is a known Hindu phobe. He is known to be a person who distorts the meanings of texts in his translations in very subtle ways. So that's the kind of anti-India, virulent India hater that the Murtis have been supporting. And now he has been removed for whatever reasons after many years of serving as a as a mentor and chief editor of this Murthy Classical Library. That's just one example of the activities of the Murtis. Now, what I've shown you, you can look it up for yourself. They have indeed, Narayan Murthy has definitely funded Sheldon Pollock, and Sheldon Pollock is definitely supported anti-India activities. These are facts that you can check on your own. I'm not making hypothetical claims and allegations. These are facts. So my question is, who is Mr. Narayan Murthy batting for? On whose behalf? Definitely, larger interests are there out there. Probably, look, everything it does, it kind of aligns and dovetails with the US agenda for India or against India. So clearly, it looks like he's batting for the US, for the West, against us. And he has said it openly that he was a leftist as a younger person. And he also wants Indians to work what 80 hours a week, 100 hours. I'm not sure what number he said. That essentially will ensure that India's TFR drops below any sustainable number. Because when you are overworked and overwhelmed with stress, you cannot procreate. That's what history tells you over and over again. See what Christopher Columbus did to Hispaniola, to the Arawak Indians. He overworked the hell out of them, and they stopped reproducing. And soon enough, there was complete demographic collapse, and they were eradicated out of existence. The Arawak Indians by Christopher Columbus, a genocidal monster. So, if you overwork an entire society, the TFR declines drastically and the society collapses. So that's what Mr. Murthy advocates. It's okay for, let's say, the top 1% in society to work 80 hours a week for us for a certain period of time, for 2 years, 3 years, when you're pursuing a certain set of goals. But you can't do that for the rest of your life. I would say if the ordinary Indian adult works 40 hours a week effectively, India will be totally transformed. Okay. So Mr. Murthy, I don't know what agenda he is, but he definitely has seems to have ulterior motives, and he has a track record of supporting and funding with his own money anti-India elements.